Well, good evening everyone. It's a bank holiday Monday. It's 6:20 in the evening. I've just got a few hours, maybe only a couple of hours, to have a go at catching a fish. I'm down my most local of local club waters. It's only about a 5-minute drive for me, so I'm really fortunate. There's no massive fish in here. There's not a massive head of fish in here, but there are a few lovely scaly low doubles, mid doubles, and it would be absolutely brilliant to catch one. I've come into the swim and set up, and whilst I would normally like to capture some of that for my videos, this time a fellow angler was down on the lake, not surprising given it's a bank holiday Monday, and we had a blinking good chin wag and I didn't have a chance to get the camera out, so I set all the gear up whilst we were having a chat, and now he's popped off home to have his tea and left me here to do this serious business of trying to catch a carp. So I'll show you around in a minute. Sorry, put my teeth back in. I'll show you around in a minute and show you what I'm using to try and tempt one of these fish to bite. I also want to show you a new rucksack that I've got. It's an early birthday present from my dad, so thanks Dad. I'll show you around that in just a little while. So nothing revolutionary in terms of tactics, guys. You might have seen me firing some boilies just along the edge of this island here, which has been a productive spot for me in the past, and I flicked out my 2 rods, one quite close to the island and one about a rod length off of the island there. Not big casts by any stretch of the imagination, short chucks, probably could have done with an underarm flick, but I find I can I can do it a bit better with the overarm cast. So got them exactly where I want them. One near the island where there's probably a bit more detritus and debris on the bottom is using one of my solid PVA bag rigs, and the one to the left of it is of course the good old trusty snowman rig. Really hoping I can catch something on that one because I've had a bit of a dry spell on the snowman rig, but hey, time will tell. But here's the rods behind me on the Signet rod pod, and if I'm lucky, one of those alarms might just go off. Over my shoulder there is a new rucksack. Let me show you what I've got and see what you think. So to start with, something I really like is it's got these two carry straps here. It is the Sabre 90-litre carp fishing rucksack, and it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual compartments plus a 7th massive, as the name suggests, 90-litre compartment here where really you can fit everything and the kitchen sink. I found it really comfortable to carry. This is only my first session using it, mind you, so it's early days yet. And in here I've got everything I need for this session. I've got, for example, a can of beans. I've got a mug. And I've got my stove. And I've got my gas. And so on and so on. I could do this for ages, but you can see what I mean. I've got compartment up the top here. It's got my head torch, etc. in for if it gets dark a bit later on. This long pouch on the side here has got my water bottles in, so forth. Around the front here, this was my tackle box. This was my rig wallet. In the left-hand pouch here is some bait. And there was one here with my scales in. Hopefully I'll need those later on. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with this new piece of luggage that I've got. The only thing that I would say is it could do with being a bit stiffer. I'd like it to stand upright on its own steam a little bit more. It hasn't got any like rigid poles in or anything like that. I suppose so that it can pack down small. And the only other thing is it's probably just a bit too big. I mean, it's absolutely massive. I suppose if I'm going out with the girls for a day, I need to pack all of their stuff in there to keep them occupied and stuff like that. And in the winter, when I've got more bulky items, then I'm sure that extra space will come in handy. But for now, it's not even half filled, to be honest. But then this is only a short session. But yeah, my Sabre rucksack, I'm happy with it. Okay guys, well I've had baits in the water for just about an hour now. And apart from one single bleep on my left-hand rod where the bobbin lifted a couple of inches and then settled back down, which I suspect was a liner. It's quite a slow movement of the line. Nothing else has happened. Now, there is a big part of me that just wants to reel in, freshen things up, recast, bung a lot more bait out there. but actually we're just getting to that time of day now, 7:20. The sun's dipping down. There's the odd hint of activity out there, which makes me think that fish might be moving into the area. I think I'm going to sit on my hands and wait this one out without disturbing the swim any more than I need to. And if I'm lucky, it'll work. And if I'm not, I'll be kicking myself for not putting a bit more bait in and trying a recast. But you never really know, do you? Let's sit back, sit on my hands, and see what happens. Well guys, it's 9:15 and I'm gutted to say it hasn't happened this time. I had an occurrence on my left hand rod, which is a snowman rig. A quick beep on the indicator, the bobbin lifted up about an inch, couple of inches, and then suddenly dropped back, and then I saw a fish bow waving it out of the area towards the other side of the lake from the spot, and I'm certain that fish pricked itself but then managed to eject the hook and swim off, and has probably left me in a lovely tangle out there. I haven't reeled in because I thought there was always a chance on the right hand rod on the PVA bag, but alas, it wasn't to be this time. I'm not going to be beaten. I want to get back out here as soon as possible. I don't know when it will be. Hopefully one day this week, one evening this week after work, if I can work it around family life, etc. But I'll certainly be keeping you posted. Well guys, I've made it back, and it is the same week. It's only a couple of days since I was last down here. I'm back in the same swim. I'm going to be fishing to the same spots. I still had the marker elastic on the line, so I could clip straight back up to where I needed to cast. I'm going to start by introducing some bait, let that settle down, and then pop my rigs over the top. Weather's looking spot on for it today. Really hoping I can catch a fish. You guys may be interested to see that I'm persevering with my little PVA mesh bags on the hook link in this case. So I've just threaded this on to the hook link off my snowman rig, and I'm pulling it down and then pulling the hook point into the PVA mesh bag itself, which is full of very fine particles, so hopefully won't foul the hook point itself. Do you notice I'm actually hooking these kind of sideways on now, with the knots to the left and right of the hook rather than at the top and the bottom of the rig, I suppose, or pointing towards the top and bottom of the rig. And that's because I've noticed that with this particular PVA that I'm using, the knots don't tend to melt particularly well, and in some cases sort of coagulate around the hook itself, which I think might be causing me an issue. It's certainly not doing me any favours, so I'm just going for a slight change here. So hopefully all the PVA that is actually near the hook will dissolve away and leave nothing there to put the carp off. That's the theory anyway. Let's hope that it works this time. Well guys, it's been about 4 hours. It's really time I started getting myself packed up, and unfortunately that means this is the end of a second blank in a row on this lake in the space of a few days. So I'm not feeling particularly great about myself on the fishing front, but hey, it was brilliant to get out here. The weather's been glorious. I've had a really nice relaxing time on the bank, and I can't really complain too much. Nevertheless, I'm going to try and get back out again soon, and next time put myself in with a better chance of catching a fish by perhaps going to one of the other lakes where there's a bit of a bigger stock of fish and a bit of a better chance of getting in amongst them. I'd really like to get a bend in the rod. It feels like it's been ages. It's probably only been about 3 weeks since I last caught a fish, but even that is too long. So hopefully it won't be too much longer and I'll be back out there. Watch this space. Hey guys, well I'm really hoping it's going to be third time lucky. Third session this week, which is pretty amazing. But to be honest, I'm only so motivated because I haven't managed to catch one on my last 2 sessions. So I've come down one of the more prolific club waters on my ticket. There's a really decent head of fish in here. The weather is perhaps a bit too hot, but there's always a chance. So I brought the girls down with me, and I'm hoping I can get a bend in the rod. We'll see. Okay guys, well here's the plan. I've got my classic snowman rig, barbless hook on this one in a size 8, got some coated braid up to my anti-tangle sleeve, and just an overhand loop there to attach to my quick change swivel. This little PVA bag has been threaded down the hook link, and I've used a slightly different mix there. It's got some of the sticky active krill mix in there, some krill flavoured ground bait and some tiny pellets, and I've not compressed it quite so hard as I did last time. My thought being hopefully it will crumble away a little bit easier if it's just that little bit looser in terms of its texture, and so hopefully this will bring me that all important bite. It certainly would give me a little bit of faith in this rig, because I think so far on using the little PVA bags to avoid tangles, which does seem to work, I haven't actually caught a fish on this rig. So touch wood, it'll go well today and I'll be able to get a fish in the bag for you guys. What a gutter. Well guys, it's taken 3 sessions of hard graft, but eventually this little tiny common carp of only 2 or 3 pounds is my reward. At least I've caught one, and I'm getting the odd bite on my other rod now, so I'm going to slip this fish back and try and catch one much bigger. Brilliant. Well guys, I was just cooking up a bit of lunch for the girls and me, and the same rod ripped off again, resulting in this much more impressive specimen. Mirror carp, this one, probably only 5 pounds I would say, but brilliant to get a proper bend in the rod. And I'm really hoping I can catch one twice the size. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh.
Jumping. Well guys, hopefully you saw the bite, and this is the result. Fish number 3 of this very short session, and it's just starting to rain, so it's probably about time I packed it in for the day and got these girls back home. But brilliant way to finish. Really glad I've caught a few, even though they're only small ones. They all count to me. So I'm going to slip this one back where she belongs, get packed up and get back home in the dry. If you've watched this whole video, thanks so much for persevering. I know it's a bit of a bits and pieces video, this one, but really pleased I was able to get it onto YouTube for you guys. Hope to get back out on the bank again soon, do some proper fishing, going for some bigger carp if I'm lucky. But until next time, be lucky, and wherever you're fishing, oh, she nearly got away there. Wherever you're fishing, I wish you tight lines. All the best.